This is an interesting graveyard. There's a fresh grave. Like, is something... What the... Hey! How's it going? Welcome back to MyRail. In this episode, it's Halloween. So we need to do something more Halloween based. And I thought, what better than a graveyard? But of course, a lot of vanilla players will do a graveyard and it looks cool. But this is modern Minecraft. We should do something a little bit different. So, let's make a haunted graveyard. But if you're new to the channel, take a look around. And if you like what you see, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So, let's get started. So we're over here by the haunted house. Now I haven't done a lot since the last episode, but this is the 1.12 version of the pack. But I thought it would be a really good place to put a graveyard, because normally haunted houses and graveyards seem to go well together. The haunted house had to get haunted somehow. So I'm thinking this area is nice and big and will cover most of what we need. Yeah, we just probably need to take out some of this stuff here. But you've probably seen many people build graveyards. And yeah, they look pretty. Especially in the vanilla. But I think in this case what we're going to do is we're just going to place in... Let's take one more row out probably on here. I'm thinking what we'll do is we will come along and take all this stuff out. What about that flower? Yes. Let's just place in some blocks there. Yeah, we'll go between these two flowers because they're good markers on the ground. So we'll go from here, one there. We'll go all the way over to here. And let's put some pods all down on the ground. So dirt 1, dirt 2. Do we need grass? No, not really. Yeah, probably actually. Let's go grass 0. And we'll make it a very small amount. And then probably, I don't know, 25% on each of those. That should give us a bit of a combination of coarse dirt and podzol. Perfect. Hello, chicken. Actually seems like way too much grass. Let's drop that down to maybe 1% grass. That looks better. So I think what I'll do though is actually not build this on camera because it's building. It's not really that exciting. And then I'll be back in a second. So catch you, mum. Okay, done! We now have a vanilla-ish type graveyard where we have some gravestones, which of course are not from vanilla, and some other various vanilla blocks like the brick walls here. But I think this has come out pretty well. We've got a mausoleum, I think that's what they're called, in the middle here, where the residents of the haunted house have been burying their family members, the important family members, and of course we've got the other people around the sides here, and a freshly dug grave right here. With, oh, it's not even freshly dug, it's actually got something in it. But I think this has come out reasonably well. But that's the vanilla part. It looks really cool at night too. What I was thinking next is we're going to head down here, which I've already cleaned out. And you can see it's all filled in except for the grave, the freshly dug grave and the mausoleum underground area there. But we've got quite a bit of room to do what we're after, which is great. And we're going to work over here today. And I think the first thing we're going to do though is, I think we really need to have creepy sounds. You know, it's cool having mobs because you get those extra sounds. But of course we can't guarantee that mobs are going to be spawning here. And on top of that, it'd be cool to have someone trying to get out on one of their graves. While you can't see it, it'd be quite cool. So what I thought we'd do is do a bit of integrated dynamics and open computers combined. So the first thing we can do, of course, is we need our integrated dynamics. So if we look at the variable store, we're going to put one of those down. No, we're going to throw it on the ground. We're going to put one of those down. I'm going to go probably there. Plenty of room for other stuff to go in. And we're then going to grab one of these guys. No, we're going to grab a redstone reader, logic cable. We'll get back to that, and an audio writer. So the logic cable, we're just going to put there with a audio writer. Oh, actually, let's go redstone reader there. Yeah, that should work. And an audio writer there. I can do that, cool. So what the redstone reader is going to let us do is read a redstone signal, which we're going to output with the open computers. And then the audio writer will let us output sounds. So we go into here, we can go string. And let's put one of those into there. String. We're going to call it, well, let's go block gravel break, I think. Take that out. And what this lets us do is we can put that into this guy, so you can play your different sounds, including a sound, or it will even do speech to text, but let's go a sound into there. And you can just, it constantly goes off, which is quite cool. Except for, we don't want it constantly going off, we want it a bit more random than that. So we're going to go back into this guy here. And we don't just want to have the gravel breaking or the dirt breaking. We also want to have other noises that would be quite cool. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to set this guy back to a string. And this will make a lot more sense when we finish this. This is going to just be an empty string. Nothing else to it. Completely empty. Which means no sound to play. Don't play anything. As we put this into here. Sound. Nothing plays. Perfect. We'll go into here though, and we're now going to make a list card. And we're going to say string. String plus. And we'll enter, I'm going to leave the first one as 0 empty. Then we're going to go block gravel break. And I'm going to do it a few times because I want to be able to take, I need to have about 15. And that should be, that magic number should give you an idea on where we're going. We're also going to do maybe block grass dot break. So they're managing to get through that last little piece. And we'll also go entity player hurt. Grab that as well. And if you're curious what all these sounds are, you can find them on the Minecraft wiki. And they are the sounds that get played for various actions within the game. Obviously, entity player hurt is when you get damaged. And I'm going to put one more of those in. Let's also go with entity zombie dot ambient. Ambient? Does that work? Yep. Hopefully. So we'll grab that and we'll put it in for a few goes as well. And of course, we get up to 15 sounds. Any of the sounds we don't put in here will become blank. I think that's enough. I think 12 is perfect. So let's put this guy in here. Take it out, that's our list card. So now we've got an empty card with nothing in it and a list with various different strings. We will need to grab from our redstone reader here. You can see here we've got redstone files. It's reading the redstone signals. The first thing we're going to do is we want to find the integer one. Which would be this one. So this is the current signal. So if we grab a lever or a button. The button will do probably. Where's the button? There. That was odd. You can see for a moment, let's get a better button. A terrible example button. Grab that button. You can see it's true just for a moment. Do it again and scroll down, it goes 15. So what we want to know is this is the value of the item to play. So we are going to grab our card from here. And that's our redstone value. So it'll be anywhere between 0 for off, which is why we had the first list item of an empty string, and then right through the 15. And we also want to grab a redstone clock. So this guy here who's constantly ticking, put that into there. We're going to, I just need to change, oops, we need to change this to probably be a little earlier. So let's go 10 ticks, probably for about 2, I think. And we'll pick that guy up. So now what we've got is we've got 2 redstone cards and some strings, which are great. The idea, of course, is we need to be able to use these for something useful. In fact, we can probably, let's just put that there for now, and I was just thinking we'd put that on there. I knew there's a reason why I had that. So if we look into, let's go, this guy here, you'll see every now and then it goes true. So that's our ticking clock. We've got our redstone card, which is 0, but 15 when we press the button. Obviously, if we wanted to make it a different value, we can. We've got a string of empty, so there's nothing there. And a list of items, which hopefully I spelled all those right, because I don't think it will play properly if I haven't. So once we've got those, the next thing we need to do is be able to take an item from this list and put it into the audio writer. So we're going to go into here, find get, I think it, oops, that's not what I want. I think it's called get. Get or default. Let's go with get or default. So we want to grab from the list, which is this one here. We want to grab the integer value, which is our redstone value, and then it any. So the default is going to be just a blank string. Of course, you can make it anything you want, in which case you don't. If you only had 5 items, the default is what everything else will play. We're going to place that into there and throw it away. And now, if we place this into, where'd it go? Is that over there? Place that into there. Actually, let's place it into the screen first so you can see what it looks like. This one. Big fat X. Because we need to place the list in there. We need to place our redstone integer in there. Our string in there as well. And now it'll be that. But if we press this button, it'll also be that because we don't have an actual a signal that's any more than 15. We could probably fix that. Project. Just grab a very simple example here. We're going to grab that, place it onto there. Actually, no, we can't place it that way. Can we place it this way? That's also not one. Okay, so there's the Entity Zombie ambient. I don't know what was going on. The Project Red wasn't passing the signal through, so I just moved it all to redstone dust. It seemed to work. So it's reading a power of 12 there, which means it picks up the 12th item in. So you can see redstone 12. And then, of course, that will mean that the index picking up from that is that. So if we grab this and we stick it into this guy. It's very noisy. It's like being at the bottom of a cage with a whole bunch of mobs. But the other thing we're going to do, so we'll leave that there for a moment. The next thing we want to do is grab our empty string back. And we're going to go in here. And remember how we made the redstone clock? Because what we just heard was a lot of zombies at once. We don't really want that. So we're going to use a choice. Which is this one here. We're going to say when the redstone clock is ticked, then output either output our get or default for our list item. Otherwise, output a string. Place that into there. Take that out. And now, it'll error out because we haven't put all of these into here. A little bit better. But we can control this guy, of course, so we can say 60. So it's 60, which is 60 ticks. you get a noise. But really what I want to use that for is actually from, just to make sure we only play one at a time. So, I'm going to take away that. And of course all of these, because now we've got something that will play sounds when we give it a number. So it's quite complicated, possibly, to have work. We don't need this guy anymore. Oops. We can take that and put it like that. What we want to do now, though, is in this chest here, we have the next thing. Our good old favourite open computers. Let me just clear my inventory out of all the stuff which we don't need anymore. And we'll grab all of those. Boom, 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 boom. So what I've got here is got a rack. And the idea of the rack is, once we've finished this little piece, the next part that we're going to work on is going to require probably a few more components than just a normal computer can handle. So we go into servers where they can handle 16, 17, 18, 20 devices without any problems. We'll put our rack there though, and inside there we are going to add our server. So we're going to here, we're going to figure up a server. So the hard drive, this has already been pre-installed on OpenOS to make it mean you don't have to wait around. EEPROM, some memory, CPU, and yeah, I'm using Creative here. It's a once-off, and it's for fun. We're going to place this guy in to there, and attach it to the top for the moment. Place that there, and we'll place a redstone IO there. Alright, so these are now connected up there. We should be able to hit, oh, and we need the keyboard as well, of course. Place that there. And if we were to turn this guy on, it'll boot up. Okay, so if we go into here, what we actually need to do is control the redstone IO so it outputs a signal to this guy, which really shouldn't be hard. It should be component, redstone, set, output, sides, dot bottom, and let's say 1. And now you can hear something digging. We can turn it off. Let's say we used 5. Something take damage. 7. Bad example. 9. And we turn it off. So that's quite a cool feature. And you can imagine if we have it on loop and we have a delay in between, then it would end up having, every now and then, we'd have a random sound. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a very basic script right now to demonstrate that, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so as I said, very quick script. Basically, we require our component size, basically we're requiring all the stuff we need. We're then going to loop 1,000 times, which is pretty much infinite, but it allows us to break out if we need to. We could change that to a while true in the future. We're then going to use our commands we were using in Lua a moment ago, component.redstone.setOutput, sides.bottom, and we're going to use a random number between 1 and 12, because that's how many items we have defined. So we're going to be able to select 1 through 12. We can set it to 15, it would default to one of the other, the empty string, but that'll work for now. And then immediately after that, we're going to set it to 0. And then sleep for 2 seconds. So, we run that. And as you can hear, approximately every second or so, we get a sound. Now, it is also a requirement. It also requires that the clock be ticking at the same time, so that we don't get duplicate noises, because otherwise you get hurt or zombie. So that's what the redstone clock piece was for. But you can see it works pretty well. Now, the next thing we wanted to do is, I've done it in the past where I used projectors to load up a Pac-Man, all the balls in the Pac-Man game, and you can run around. Wasn't the greatest, and it never got to work because it was quite slow. But I was thinking we could use the same idea with a projector from opencomputers. These guys. We use the same idea to project something onto the ground above us. Something spooky. Now, one of the tricks to remember though is you need to place your cable to the bottom of the hologram projector. But then if we go into lure, we will now have component.hologram. And we have all the various stuff. Now, if I were to place in multiple of these, let's say, now they do a 3x3, so if we would go 1, 2, 3, actually no, 1, 2, 1 there, 1, 2, and then 1 there, and we have a little grid like that, it's not going to be quite that easy, because you're going to have to view each of the components. So if we're going to here, there will now be 3 holograms. 1, no there won't, there will only be 1 at the moment, because I didn't connect the cable up. Now there will be 3 holograms. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Each with their own ID, which means you can reference them. And we can set up holograms on top. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm not going to bore you to death with me writing the code. So I'm just going to write the code now. And I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I don't know if I actually kept it in the video. But one of the things I said was the servers allow you to connect to multiple machines. These connect up to 16 components. Now, as you can see, too many components connect to this computer. I've just put all the projectors in, and there's obviously more than 16 here, so it's thrown its toys and said, no, you can't do that. But what we can do is we can go into here, and there are these component tiers. Now these allow you to add more on the rack, and that's the reason why we're using a rack in a server, so we can add more of these in. So if we just need to go 8, should we turn that on now? So that will now give us 16 for the CPU plus another 8. And if we go into here, components, these are all the hologram projectors. Now I'll get back to code. Okay, I think I've got some code working. And we're all aligned now, so you can see that one of the things my code will do is it highlights which of the devices are which, so we can make sure it's in order. So the holo projector that's down underneath here is 7, or starts with 7C0, and it's in position 1, which is correct. The next one is 72C, and it's in position 2, which is also correct. And you can see it works all the way back here with the blue line being row 2. Yellow and sign, so we're all in position. Now I have borrowed some code from one of the example programs to do the text. I think it was called Holo Text, where you can give it a number or a piece of string and it will rotate it around the screen. I just borrowed some of that stuff to be able to display this on here, so we can identify what the component ID is, and it's allowed me to line them up a lot easier than what I was originally doing. What we'll do now though is we're going to head back down here and go into edit spooky. So if you do want to run this code yourself, the first time you run it, it'll create a file called /holo.devices. In that file, I'll quick show you. It lists out all the things. So there's the green line, the blue line, the yellow line, and cyan line. It will make assumptions about where things are. So it just puts them all in random lines, and then you need to go around and move where they are. So the first time we run it, it'll show them on the screen. If we were to say run it again, even though I haven't configured it, it'll reset them up and put them into position. And then if we go in here and we set setup mode to equal false, once we know everything's in position, we can run spooky. It will set things up, and hopefully if we got stairs, there's the noises, and look at that little ghost, and he is moving. Well, it's kind of working, except for it looks like they're all facing the wrong way. So I'm going to have to go rotate all of them around so that they're facing the right way. Otherwise, it'll be moving the wrong way. So give me a second to make that change, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so a quick rotation change later. Just a variable, really. We now have a ghost going in the correct direction. Because what's happening, of course, is this has to pass each of the projectors, has to know which one's next to be able to pass it on. So, of course, we have to make sure that rotation's right. But it looks like that's working. The sound is working in the background, which is excellent. It's a little bit sluggish at times, and when it's going up and down, it's a little bit flickery, but I don't know how to fix that. But I think that actually looks quite cool. Okay, so now we have a haunted graveyard, complete with a zombie which is trying to break out of the dirt, and a ghost which just randomly flies around. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to give it a like because it tells YouTube that this is a great video. But otherwise, have a great day, and see ya!